Welcome back, everyone. This is Project Nihilist. I'm going to do something different in this video and cover this self help guru who has like 2 million subs. Earlier today, I was working. His video came up and I let it play in the background. He said some cool things and some dumb things. And what does YouTube do? Recommends more of his content. The video I'm going to cover is only the second video I've ever seen. I don't know anything about this guy, hence my problem. He says things in this video that directly contradict what he says in the other video. It's like you can't trust a dude in his 20s who admits he's in it for the money. Before we get into this video, in Mark's other video, he said dating apps suck and often take months to pay off, but for $187 a month, his awesome lessons will pay off in about 90 days. Here's a photo of a chicken driving heavy machinery. Roll the tape.
Weak men try to convince the world they are not weak. Strong men try to convince the world of nothing. There's a lot of terrible advice for young men on the internet, and I get it. Being a man in 2024 is confusing.
So in this video, I'm going to explain some timeless principles that are important for any young man to understand.
Let's start with this. The project of a young man means defining your usefulness to the world. A woman's value to society is innate. She has an inherent potential to create life. But men, we're fucking expendable. Young men especially. As long as there's one man somewhere with a working dick, civilization is going to be fine.
I'm going to be honest, I don't really know where to begin with that. I mean, you can have a starving mother giving birth to starving babies, and civilization is still screwed. I mean, Mark implies this us versus them mentality, asserting a woman's value in her limited ability to reproduce, and the man's is indefinite. It's so fucked up.
Therefore, throughout history, there has been an intense pressure on young men to earn the right to be part of the tribe, society, or civilization. As the philosopher Camille Paglia once wrote, "A woman simply is, but a man must become."
I agree with that, kinda, but women also have to do the same thing. They acquiesce, they have their fat friend, they've got their mean friend. I mean, guys do the same thing. One time I was at the mall and this goth girl was picking on a cheerleader, and then the cheerleader had enough of it, and she fucked this goth girl up. And the goth girl went to the security guard crying, holding her own hair. And I was like, good for you.
The project that Paglia alludes to, the becoming of a man, is therefore to build your value, to become a net positive for society. As men, we have a deep instinctual desire to do this. It's largely what generates confidence and self-esteem, and it gives our lives a sense of meaning and purpose.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean everyone gets a brand new V6 Mustang for graduation and goes around and fucks all the girls that want to fuck him. You know, maybe people have more sense than you give them credit for. Let me go a little deeper. My ex, who's now in prison, her uncle is most likely a virgin and is going to die a virgin because he's a homosexual hater and he's gay. No shit. I shit you not.
Develop the ability to approach women in person and state your sexual interest in them in the simplest and most respectful terms.
Hey, you're so cute. I want to make your liver quiver. And we have so much in common, by the way.
Assuming you have your shit together and don't look like a fucking basement-dwelling troglodyte, you will absolutely be shocked how far this will get you.
Seem to have lost my Congressional Medal of Honor around here somewhere.
Ultimately, the only good dating advice is self-improvement. Everything else is either a detail or a distraction. Build value within yourself, give that value to those around you, and most of your dating problems will take care of themselves over the long run. Choosing a long-term partner will be the most important decision you make at this stage of your life. I know no one tells you that, but it's true.
What was 20-year-old I supposed to do? Question mark. In your other video, you said I was supposed to have a girl come over when I wanted sex, but not to watch Netflix and eat Uber Eats because of the sugar. Mark worked with 40-year-old construction workers who were all fat and their girlfriends were fat and they hated their wives and they should have signed up for his $187 a month secret super sorcery.
A great partner will make every other endeavor that much easier and more enjoyable.
Yeah, I guess when she's only coming over to not watch Netflix and bear my children while I ignore her when she's irrelevant because all she is a fucking baby maker.
A bad partner will make every other endeavor unnecessarily difficult and complicated. So choose wisely. And if you're really struggling with women, then read my men's dating book, Models Attract Women Through Honesty.
He chose poorly.
You're probably like most young men in that you're incredibly impatient. You want to prove your status and worth now. You want the fast car and the fat bank account now. You want to bang the hot girl now. Trust me, my dude.
Yeah, trust me, my dude. Get you some hardworking parents who can buy everything you've ever wanted. Be kind of attractive and, have some confidence because you got these new sneakers and you can get all the pussy.
I get it.
Yeah, I know, dude. It has to suck that you've never had the cheerleaders wanting to fuck your brains out. But now you've got all the answers in your mid-20s for all the dudes younger than you. And that's just so fucking stupid to me. Because you are wrong, my guy.
Almost all things that are valuable in a man compound slowly over a long period of time. Wealth, knowledge, strength, self-awareness, emotional maturity, family. These things are not found. They are slowly built over the course of years and decades.
Says the guy who's got it all figured out at the ripe old age of 20-ish and is probably living the fucking dream with all you idiots paying him for his stupidity. Admittedly, a guy could, procreate his own family, but if you're not born into one and you have no, close relatives, it's not something you can cultivate over time.
There will be many temptations to bypass the long status game for a bunch of short-term bullshitty status games. This is the biggest mistake that I made when I was young.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad you figured out how to make money, but some of us don't want to be like dipshits and grift off people's fears and insecurities and inability to get laid and whatnot.
I thought I could shortcut the long-term value game by winning a bunch of dumb short-term value games found in parties, video games, nightclubs, and traveling. These experiences were a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, and I did learn some things from them.
So you're in your 20s and you don't party or go to nightclubs or travel or play video games anymore? Is there something wrong with you? I play chess and shoot billiards and go to amusement parks and play cards, and I love video games. Hell, there's an arcade that just opened down the road and I go in there and play the pinball machines.
But ultimately, they probably distracted me from the bigger and more important goal of developing myself.
In your other video, you said that education is nothing more than useless indoctrination, and that most of the people we would get advice from are people who've never been out in the real world, that they've only ever been in school.
If the value of being a man compounds slowly, then that means the primary project of every young man should be to continue their education indefinitely.
Again, that's the exact opposite of what you said in your last video. You said your teachers and your counselors were all totally weak. I mean, which one is it, guy? I'm lost.
You do not stop learning when you finish school. On the contrary, the real useful education has only begun.
I'm reminded of a comment in your other video I responded to where the guy was like, yeah, education's dumb. And I was like, no, dude, Pythagorean's theorem, basic physics principles has been huge in my life. But now you're like, education's the most important thing ever and it never ends. Which one is it?
Your project then is to learn the things they didn't teach you in school. How to relate to people, how to be dependable and trustworthy, how to listen well, how to take risks, how to communicate your thoughts and feelings effectively, how to stomach rejection, how to manage your emotions, how to admit when you're wrong.
That's like a perfect example of why I went to school, what I learned in school. It was like the point of school. But you're like, oh, you got to learn all that shit later on and ignore the indoctrination that you talked about in your last video from ignorant people who've only ever went to school. Remember the teachers and the counselors. They've never been in the real world.
If you have emotional or mental health issues, now is the time to deal with them. Not when you have a girlfriend, not when you're married, not when you're already fucking up your kids. Get it taken care of now.
I mean, is that seriously what you're going with? Hey, look, you can fix all of your future problems now when you're under 20 years old. And all you got to do is send me $200 a month, go to a therapist, not watch Netflix, not eat Uber Eats, and you'll be like getting the poo-tang, especially if you sign up for BetterHelp.
Everyone will thank you for it decades later. Which leads me to the sponsor of this video.
Skip.
Try not to think of life as a series of achievements, but rather a series of explorations. You're not trying to achieve money, you are simply exploring the means to make money. You are not trying to achieve sex, you are simply exploring your sexuality.
That's some excellent advice. I've always thought of sex as a journey and not a destination. I'd listen to Dr. Ruth and watch those Cinemax documentaries and read about female anatomy. And, you know, it's a quid pro quo. The more quid I give, the more pro quo I receive.
You're not trying to achieve six-pack abs. You are simply exploring the potential of your health and fitness.
I actually like that. That's some motivational thinking right there, that is.
This allows you to pursue worthy experiences while not entangling your ego and identity up in them.
Says the guy whose ego's totally entwined and admits he needs a fucking therapist.
Because even the most noteworthy achievements, when laced with ego, will turn you into a selfish asshole.
Oh, you don't want to end up 40 years old having my 22-year-old flashbacks.
If you have to say you are something, you are not that thing. If you have to convince people that you are high value, then you are not high value. If you have to make people respect you, then you are not worthy of respect. The best way to earn respect from people around you is to first give it unconditionally.
I mean, dude's obviously never seen his other video because, I mean, oh my God, fuck.
It took me a long time to learn that satisfaction and self-respect as a man will grow in proportion to the value that you bring to those around you. Don't make the same mistakes that I did.
Mother knows best. Listen to your mother. It's a scary world out there.
Don't be afraid of your emotions. Learn to recognize your emotions and state them bluntly, but never let them dictate your life to you. Emotions are merely a suggestion, not a decree.
It's like you're telling people not to get pissed off when they're stuck in traffic, and it took me decades to master being numb. I mean, what do you want? You want people to be like me? It's super easy.
Don't make excuses. Don't blame the world for your shortcomings. Don't become bitter or resentful about things that don't affect you at all. The world will constantly try to seduce you with moral outrage. Usually these narratives are sold by other men whose projects have been derailed. Men who have failed themselves and others and are trying to prove to you that success is impossible. This outrage is empty calories. Don't buy into these narratives.
Hey, Pod, come over. Let me introduce you to Kettle. Dude, do you know what you're saying? Like, are you self-aware? Or is this like an AI bot fucking with me?
Become an expert of your own mind. Learn what motivates you. Learn what scares you. Learn what tempts you and what vices derail you. Test and build systems for yourself. What gets you to exercise in the morning? What helps you have difficult conversations? What gets you to stop drinking before you go too far? What upsets you unnecessarily?
Ruffians, thugs, poison ivy, quicksand.
Mark, I think you're missing the forest because of the trees. You're trying to dumb down chaos to easy outcomes. You know, the butterfly in China flapped its wings and caused a global pandemic. Again, it's a paradox because you want to claim education while denying education when it's convenient. Again, great advice, but if you want to learn methodologies and how to think and shit, you got to go to higher education. You can't learn it on YouTube giving some guy $200 a month. It just doesn't work that way. You know, you can read your self-help books, but you'll still be empty afterward.
Complaining and talking shit is how weak people relate to each other. Train yourself to stop doing both and stop hanging around people who do both. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Wow, that's like the greatest advice I've never heard before. It's not like you get to really choose what friend group you fall into, and it doesn't matter. None of them are insulated from fucking reality. The fucking cheerleaders might get hooked on methamphetamines and bring down the whole fucking school. You know, the jocks get hooked and the goths find out about it, and then the music kids, you know, they fucking got to do those marching band practices and shit.
Complaining and talking shit is how weak people relate to each other. Train yourself to stop doing both and stop hanging around people who do both. The world may seem like shit. The world always seems like shit to young people. But recognize that today there is more freedom and opportunity than any other time in history. Yet fewer men are willing to act on it and take it than ever. The average young male is undereducated, underemployed, overweight, broke, and has never approached a woman in his life.
So all of that's utter horseshit, because I'm pretty sure he just pulled it out of his ass and told us it was chocolate. Where did you get that information from, buddy?
Just fucking try. My God, just try and you're already ahead.
So yeah, I have a huge fucking problem with snake oil salesmen, and that's what Mark is doing. He doesn't offer any wisdom, no truth, no facts. Let me know in the comments what you think of this guy. I mean, it sounds like a bunch of fucking bullshit to me, but it just blows my mind. It's so confident. Oh, yeah, I'm making the money. I'm getting laid. You can be just like me, bro, with high testosterone, athletic, and got a skinny girlfriend. This is no shit. In high school, I would have felt bad for Mark because my friends were making fun of him.